Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Tower of God Chapter 400, and it's probably going to be, or Season 2 Episode 320, it's probably going to be a really short review. I said this in the live reaction yesterday where it was mostly action and stuff, so there's not really a ton of discussion, and on top of that, the blog this week didn't really have anything we didn't already know, so this is probably going to be on the shorter side, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I guess let's discuss it from the beginning. So of course, this was Rachel's group in the car that Chonhee got. I thought that, so I thought in the live reaction that I knew this whole plan, that I understood this whole plan, and maybe I should wait a second to get to it. But yeah, so the first thing we have that's new and not just the recap scene from last chapter is Rachel, Yura, and Traveler surrendering. It's odd that Chonhee doesn't know Yura. I didn't really think about this at first when I was reading in the live reaction, but then I was like, oh yeah, they're both part of the Ha family. And in addition to that, we've seen multiple rankers so far recognize Yura and know who she is because she's somewhat famous. I don't know to what extent. So it's odd that Chonhee doesn't recognize Yura, someone both from her own family and famous. Maybe she should open both eyes. Then we have Plan B explained, and I thought I understood it. I totally did in the live reaction. And then I read the chapter a bunch more, and I took my notes on it, and now I don't understand it whatsoever. Because what I thought it was when I read in the live reaction was that they let some of the train cars fall. Bomb's group was in one of the falling train cars, so Chonhee would be like, oh, that's suspicious, there's somebody in there, I should grab this falling train car. And then they use Bong Bong to switch out Rachel's group with Bomb's group, so now Bomb's group is safe and Rachel's group is bait. That's what I thought. But that's not at all what the explanation said. So, turns out I was totally wrong on thinking that, and the explanation itself makes very, very little sense. So they said that because of Hockney's prescience and the calculations of the Anakor and the coordinate knowledge of Evan, they were able to use Evan's teleporter to teleport Bomb's group. Evan was able to teleport them, and the little diagram made it seem like they were teleporting them to Evan himself, but I guess Evan teleported them to the docks, because that's where we next see the train car with them getting out. So I guess that's where Evan teleported them, but they didn't make that super clear. But also they said they used Bong Bong to teleport Andrasi, or to teleport Rachel's group. So if Rachel's group was already, and it turns out Rachel's group was already in one of the falling cars and Bomb's group was back a bit. So if that's the case, then they were dropping the cars with Rachel's group and Rachel's group was going to get caught anyway. Why would Andrasi need to teleport her if that's the way that things were? So there's so much of this that makes absolutely no sense. Like, where did Andrasi teleport her to? Why did she teleport her if she's already in one of the falling cars? So I'm wondering, is this an ass-backwards translation? Is the translation just not a little off, but way off? Or does this plan just make absolutely no sense? Like, I don't really get the point. And if they were able to just teleport the train car, why'd they even need Rachel's group as a distraction? Why'd they even need to drop the cars as a distraction if Evan can just teleport the car into the place anyway? So yeah, all of this plan, I thought it all made perfect sense, switching out the two groups so that one could serve as a distraction that way. But if they didn't switch out the two groups, which is what the translation says, then what's the point? I don't understand what the point of this entire plan is. It seems like it's all completely pointless, that they could have just teleported themselves in there at any time. So yeah, I have no idea what this plan was. I'm completely confused on what happened, and not only what happened, but why it happened. So I don't know if the translation was just a million ways off and everything was contradicting itself, or if the very writing itself and the very plan makes no sense. But I have no idea. Either way, it doesn't make sense. Hackney, also, we see him floating on a blue ore. I'm bringing it up because some people brought it up in the comments. And it could be Bomb just creating a blue ore for him to float on, but the color of it is different from the color of the blue ores that are part of the black wings that Bomb is using. So it might be something that Hackney's creating himself. We know he can use Shinsu from that lantern he carries around, so maybe he's just making a Shinsu platform with the Shinsu from the lantern, and maybe it's just Hackney's own creation, or yeah, maybe Bomb's just making it for him. So we don't even, it might not actually be a blue ore, it might be his own platform. Then Chonhee says, okay, army, take these 3 regulars, all good, and then leaves. Karaka then tries to attack Yuri but starts dissolving, and Yuri seems shocked. Well, she doesn't really seem shocked at that, but the translation makes her seem shocked at that. So I'm wondering, is this just a place where the translation is off, or is this not Yuri? And if it is Yuri, how is it Yuri? What is this new power? So Karaka then decides to try to respawn. Evan shows up behind him, and he has a gun that's well, I don't know if I'd say exactly, but it's kind of like the gun that Batis had, where it can negate spells or whatever. So he has a Batis gun. He said he got it from the Floor of Death, though. It's weird, again, that we have these things just brought up. Oh, hey, I got it from a person on the Floor of Death. When? When did you have this free time on the Floor of Death? When? We didn't see any of this, did we? So, yeah, it's weird that just a random item from the Floor of Death here now. So that is odd, I will say. But Evan says to Karaka that it would be good for him to let himself be caught. So I'm assuming then that Karaka's group and Rachel's group, or Karaka and Rachel's group, they're just going to be fine. It's all part of the plan. They're a lot better off with Yuri and Evan than they are getting captured by Zahard's army. Then Albelda and Joaquin were hilarious. The way that he's just like, everything's fine. And she's like, what do you mean everything's fine? Help the regulars. He's like, stop making noise in my head. So she just makes noise in his head. All of that was really good. Dorian summons Pollock again. Albelda's like, you might not want to use your full power. We're going to need to recharge after all that. We're going to be tired and have to get our power back. And Joaquin, or White, he just doesn't care at all. He just full-on Susanoo's and deletes Zahard's army. So Zahard's army, except for like the main players, like probably Drac, Chonhee, and Dorian, have just been wiped out. But because of that, I'm assuming that White's probably going to have to go to the station with the rest of the regulars and get his powers back a bit. So yeah, the blog, nothing really big happened. I love the picture that CU drew for it this week, where it was like the Sleeping Beauty Kun kidnapped by the evil Lord Chonhee or whatever, and we had the goddess Yuri blessing the warriors. And the warriors were Bomb and Rack for sure, and I feel like the other two looked like Beta and Andrasi, but it didn't look that much like Andrasi, so it could have been Misang, and Beta could have been Hackney, but I think it looked more like Beta. But yeah, that was a really cute picture. And yeah, for the blog itself, there's nothing we didn't really already know, just talking about White's powers and stuff like that, but it was all explanation that we've already got in the main series, so yeah, nothing to talk about really. And in conclusion, some thoughts about the chapter itself in general. Like I said, I'm more confused now than I was in the live reaction. I thought I knew what was going on, that it was really creative and a good plan, and now that I've reread it, it just seems like kind of a mess and doesn't make any sense at all. I still don't understand why or how they teleported Rachel. I mean, I get the Bong Bong teleported Rachel, but if they're not switching with Andrasi's group, then how and why? I don't get why any of this happened. Then I'm assuming as well, like I said, that Karaka and Rachel, they're all going to be fine because it's all part of the plan. Also, White is the most entertaining part of the chapter. And like I said, probably gonna have to go recover after this. So that is it. Ended up being a longer discussion than I thought it would be. It's just a confusing chapter. I don't know what to say about it. I don't know what to score it, really, because there's so much of it that I just simply don't understand. So So I'd still give it a good score, because even though it was confusing and a lot of stuff doesn't make any sense or have any reason to have happened seemingly, it still was super, super entertaining and fun to read. So I'd still probably give it 8 Susanoo soul skeleton things out of 10. So yeah, that's it. Sorry for the just confusing review even. So either way, if you didn't like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter, what you thought of my thoughts on it and all that. Subscribe for more Tower of God, much more on the channel. And follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you up to date there and stuff for the channel to talk to you there. And if you want a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us on Discord, then yeah, just ask and I'll give you a link to that. So that's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.